In this edition of Hispanic Lifestyle, we talk real estate.
Interest rates are so low and the buyers just want that home.
Catch up with actors.
This is where we're going, and we're all headed in this direction.
But we were really lucky to have the episodes written.
And a Latina of influence.
I grew up going to an orphanage every Saturday.
I'm Richard Sandoval, and welcome to Hispanic Lifestyle. Hispanic Lifestyle is pleased to have the support of Wells Fargo Bank. More information is on their website, wellsfargo.com. Additional underwriting support is provided by Inland Empire Health Plan, Small Business Development Corporation of Orange County, and Bank of America. In our first segment, we talk with an icon in the real estate industry, Marty Rodriguez, about her career and get a perspective on the housing market. I've been fortunate to hear you share your story a few times, but again, talk about how this experience was so much different than past economic downturns, if you will.
And I've been through a couple downturns, I've had the downturn of 1989, and then the market going down to 1997, and then coming back up to 2007, taking a downturn again to 2012. So I've been through a couple. What's different about this, in 2007, we were totally set up for, failure. They were giving money away to people who couldn't qualify. Well, since then, everybody's been qualifying to be able to purchase, property. And I find what's going on today, what's different is interest rates are so low and the buyers just want that home. They either want to fix it and make it right for them, or they want to move up, or they want to move down. But what's most important to them is that they can afford it. So with these low interest rates, it's about the affordability factor, not so much about the price. If they have to fight for the price, they're okay as long as they can afford the payment. So I think that's what we're seeing today.
I would like you to comment on an article I read in the newspaper, and I didn't realize this. You and I happen to live outside of Los Angeles. I live even farther outside of Los Angeles, out here in Menifee. And that is the people that were living and paying those rents and leases in downtown urban markets such as Los Angeles. I didn't realize that a lot of those people, after having experienced having to work and realizing that they could do it remotely, we're now deciding that they wanted to live out where we are, where it is more affordable.
More affordable.
You get more bang for your buck. I don't know how much more affordable is as much as it is more bang for your buck. Talk a little bit about that. Is that a trend that you're seeing? And is that going to continue to go forward?
Well, I think they're seeing it in downtown because they said that, rents are going down in downtown. So yes, I see people moving out to the suburbs because it's more affordable. So those people are driving the prices up, because now you've got a competition of people from within and people for us from the West moving eastbound. So, they created a frenzy for, the purchase of property. And then we have the shortage of listings. So with the shortage of listings and so many buyers, it's driving prices up, and we're selling properties, over the asking price. But remember, for them, it's about affordability. So they go, what if it goes down? I don't think they care, because even if the price went down a little bit, they can still afford the payment. As long as they can afford the payment is really all they're looking at. Now they're getting bigger yards. And, the big hot ticket now are swimming pools. Oh my gosh, if you have a swimming pool, that's a hot ticket, where before it was a 50-50. But now people, they entertain at home. They stay home. They spend more time with families. So, and I think that's one good thing about COVID, is that we've been able to, I think, spend more time with family and, you know, get to see each other more. So that's been a big plus. So there's been negatives and pluses about COVID.
I'd like you to talk a little bit more about your industry and the aspects of being a cheerleader. You're always positive. Every time I run into you, you're always positive. Even those people that don't work within your firm, what were you telling people in your industry about how to, what I like to phrase is picking up the pieces and moving forward?
I think what I was telling everybody is that, you know, we all need to keep working and to keep, you know, our businesses going, whether it's real estate, you know, whether it's, you know, other industries and the ones that got really hurt, you know, were the people, you know, in the restaurant industry. Those are the people that really got hurt. And, you know, and I feel bad because, you know, 25% of the people cannot afford to make their house payment, but yet real estate is on fire. But I think, you know, the banks are working with these people because, you know, they want to help them save their houses. So hopefully they're not going to lose their houses. They're, you know, putting everything off for later. So hopefully by that time they're able to catch up, you know, get the jobs that they need to continue to make the payments. And even if they have to sell, we're not going to have a foreclosure market. You know that, right? Because all these people, even if they had to sell, they have equity now. So, you know, they'll be able to put their house on the market. The bank's not going to be taking that house back. So either way, I think that, you know, they're going to be good. And like I said, I'm rooting for them to be able to keep their houses because home ownership is the most important thing. You know, we need stability, we need security, and every family needs that. You know, I'm a big advocate of home ownership. And the only thing that's getting harder is for our first-time home buyers to get into, you know, housing. They're having to go further east for affordability. But, you know, being one of 11 kids and having a home, I can attest, you know, the value of security, stability, and our parents owning that home with 11 kids and not being pushed around.
I could appreciate what you just said, especially about affordability, because I think as a father and, you know, and a grandfather, and you start thinking about, you know, I get excited when my property values go up, but the reality is of being able to have your family members live right next door, it seems like that is moving farther away. Can you talk a little bit about your concerns? I know you're in the industry, but also your concerns about affordability and give some perspective on how we can solve that affordability problem and still keep our families from not having to move 50, 75 miles away from us?
Well, I think that you probably have seen a lot of people moving out of state, but there's 10 people waiting in line to buy that house as well. So you do have people, you know, retiring probably in other states where they can afford to retire. But then we still have our, you know, our young kids here, or some of the kids have gone out and the parents have followed them, you know, out to wherever they're going as well. Because at the end of the day, when the parents are older, they want to be near their kids. They want to be able to see their kids, see their grandkids. So I think, you know, that's important too. So I know it's going to be hard for them probably to stay here, but if the kids have to go out, I find that also the parents will follow them out and, you know, get closer to them if that works out for them. But again, affordability is getting more difficult for first-time, you know, home buyers, and they're having to go further eastbound. But as long as they keep the rates down, I think we'll be able to keep some of those kids a little bit closer to us. And it looks like Richard, they're going to stay down. I would think for the next year at least.
I mean, this is just who would have thought out of all the things that happened during this pandemic that real estate, I mean, there had to have been a split second where you're thinking, oh no, again?
I remember, you know, I sold real estate at 18, 19, 20% in 81, 82, 83. So for me, anything less than 12 was, you know, it was really exciting to see. And now when you're looking at, you know, the rates now moving to the threes, it's still incredible and it's still affordable.
So talk a little bit about your 5 billion in sales. What is it about this industry that you love so much?
you know what, since I was a little girl, I was, I went to Catholic school. I was the best Christmas card seller. I was the best candy seller. So, I've always been selling something. And even if I find something that I really like, I mean, I can sell it, even though it's not something that I sell. If I believe in something, and I definitely, believe in the value of home ownership. So for me, I'm doing something I love. And look at it this way. I'm 70 years old, okay? And people are losing their jobs. Guess what? Nobody can fire me. Nobody can tell me how much money I'm going to make. I decide how much money I'm going to make. And my raise becomes effective when I become effective. So people ask me, how long are you going to do this? I go, probably till I die. I go, because I'm fortunate. My husband worked construction, and it came to the point where I said, Ed, you don't have to do this anymore because your body can't take it. You can't take that many years of construction, in this real estate business. I can do this, and I can do this for many, many years. So I feel fortunate that I love it, and I still want to do it, and I will keep doing it as long as I love it as much as I do. So, and I'm helping families. I'm helping, so many people in so many ways, not only just buying their homes. Sometimes, a lot of the young girls who've come to work for me, I get excited about them buying their homes. They're like my kids, and I want them to do well. I want them to, to grow in many ways, grow as an individual, grow their business, grow their real estate portfolio. So those are the things that I'm excited about, and that's why I don't want to quit. And every day is a new day in real estate. There's no 2 days alike, so it never gets boring. Always meeting new people, new friends, and helping people, putting things together. What I find is, with all my resources, all the people I know, I'm able to help people in so many ways, and not just real estate. Sometimes it might be about, a good doctor, a good, divorce attorney, a good trust attorney. I mean, and guiding them through the path to fixing some of their, problems. So I do so many things. It's so fun and so exciting. And I look forward to many more years of doing it.
In this segment, we talk with actors Carla Barata and Danny Pino on returning to their characters and what we can look forward to in season 3 of Mayan MC.
Richard, thank you for having us. And, to say that these are unprecedented times, I think would just be redundant. It's been said so often. What that looks like for us, in my house is, my kids are doing, distance learning. My wife is working from home. Carla and I get tested, multiple times, 3 times a week, even when we're not on set. The crew is the same way. For, Latinos, Latinxes to practice social distancing, I think is even harder because we're just so accustomed to, hugging each other and showing appreciation. And that is so emblematic of how we relate to each other, is so tactile. It's difficult. It's physiologically difficult to go through, but like Carla said so well, we feel very, very lucky to, almost be done with shooting season 3 and to be airing finally season 3 on March 16th and bring, like you said, almost a year and a half later, the Mayans back to the screen.
Was there a difficulty getting back into character and getting back into the swing of things, or did you guys already film this and you took a break and revisited?
For me, it was a little difficult, especially because of all the COVID new world and having all these new things to do on set, all the new precautions. And I think that was what took me off a little bit, but we were really lucky to have the episodes written a long time ago. So I think I got the chance to read all the episodes and try to connect to the character. And I feel like when you play a character that is really rooted in yourself and that you really can connect with the energy of that character, for me it was really easy to just go back to it. And actually it was refreshing to go back to it. I missed that feeling of the rawness of being Adelita.
And Danny, I'm going to get right into it here. Your final scene, and I'm really curious about this, is that your character leans over the charred body of the character that's your mother. You weren't grieving. You look like you were angry. So can you, again, talk about how it is you pick up after walking away from the character for a few months?
It's it's a really good question. I mean, it's like Carla says, to have the advantage of having all of the episodes written before you even step foot on stage is incredibly helpful. Elgin James, our showrunner, did something I thought that was it was a boost for all of us. And what he did, which is something that I haven't seen done on virtually any shows I've worked on, is he released a sort of lookbook as to what season 3 was going to be all about. Not only in terms of, I think the first thing he had on there was a poem about what it is to live in the borderlands, right? And then he talked about what our goals were. And how we're going to be, a character-driven show in season 3, which I think he achieved. And then he talked about what the show is going to look like, so that we can, in our minds, get an idea as to, what the playground was that we were going to be investigating in season 3. And that had a way of grounding everything. So, I think very smart, a way of truly reaching out to every actor and saying, this is where we're going, and we're all headed in this direction. That was incredibly helpful. Now, in terms of Miguel being angry after finding the charred remains of his mom, Miguel doesn't have the advantage, or at least I didn't feel that he had the advantage then, of showing his emotion in front of the people who he leads. I think once you find him in season 3, he feels such an overwhelming amount of guilt. And he's so untethered from who he was, seeing that he's lost Devante, his consejero, his consigliere. He's lost his mother. His marriage is in ruins. He feels isolated, and he's got nobody to turn to. So he's incredibly volatile in season 3.
And Carla, your character just had a baby and you're in jail. Where do you go from there?
That's a good question. I think I'm a mom, and I feel like even the thought of that happening to me, it'll destroy me. And I think that's where Adelita is starting this season 3. She's destroyed. She's with no heart, with no emotions. She's just not showing anything. And I feel like Adelita always had this emotional, spiritual energy that we never knew what she believed in or what she was praying for, but we knew something was in there inside of her. And I think all of that is gone, and she's completely broken. And now she's like an animal. All her actions are motivated by violence, and she's angry, and she just wants revenge. So I think it's going to be really interesting to see this other side of Adelita, where she's no longer the person that tries to be calm and can kill someone and then hug another person at the same time. We're going to see a pure, raw, violent Adelita.
Yeah, I'm not going to get into the how much of your character is likewise. So I really don't want to know that. You're scaring me now. My thing is that I like to promote positive images of our community, and the show is so beautifully shot. I'm sure it's got to be fun with working with all these actors who bring such depth and background. What do you tell people that aren't familiar with the show? Do you encourage them to start from the beginning? Are they going to pick up the show in season 3 and feel comfortable where they are in the storyline?
I highly recommend watching it from season 1, which is easy to do on Hulu, FX on Hulu. You can, nice plug there, right? You can watch from season 1 and all the way through season 2. They're 10 episode seasons. What I love about the representation on our show is not that it is a glossy representation of what we, it's not pandering to any audience, right? It is attempting to show as authentically as we can, the reality of the desperation that certain situations that happen on the border. And it's not glamorizing violence. It is taking violence and showing what the effects of that violence is on these characters, and that there is an impact to their lives. It's almost a cautionary tale. And it's a study in the systems that are involved in creating, these outcasts, these, whether it's the motorcycle club or whether it's the group of autodefensas de los olvidados, or whether it's the cartel. They're a symptom of a bigger issue, whether it's economic or political, or the demand for, drugs north of the border. It's all part of that system.
Inez Gonzalez Perez Chica is the executive director of Mana San Diego. In our final segment, we talk with this Latina of influence about her passion to be of service to our community.
I do think all of this comes from my parents. My parents, we lived in Mexico. We sort of adopted an orphanage and would go every Saturday over there. That's how I grew up. I grew up going to an orphanage every Saturday, spending my Christmases with the orphan girls, and they became my friends. They would actually come to our house. And so that's how I grew up, knowing what a difference good people can have in strangers' lives. So I knew that power, and it was just, finding where I would go. And I will say that, when I first came to the United States, even though I did have my citizenship because my parents were US citizens, I did feel like the other, and I lost my voice. It took me a long time to find my voice. And as you know, I worked with Alex Nogales, a great advocate and activist, and I learned a lot about speaking up to the powerful people. And I'm just grateful for all the people that I have met, where I have learned how to speak up. We have to speak up, and when we're one of the few around the table, you definitely have to speak up.
And now, as the head of a nonprofit organization, can you kind of talk about and be a little reflective of when COVID and the restrictions became real to you and the organization, and how important it is for you to pick up those pieces and move forward?
Yeah, last year I was still working at Cal State Fullerton when we went on lockdown, and I was working with college students, and what I saw is college students that had been working so hard for more than 4 years, some of them, to get their degree, to hear that the graduation was canceled. I actually wrote an article about that huge loss. It's not just deaths, it's all the different celebrations. And for first generation college students, graduating it's a huge deal, not only for them, but for their families. So seeing their devastation was hard because, I think it was like definitely a heartbreak. And then not only that, you graduate and you can't find a job. It was already hard for them to find a job because the first job is very hard to find. But definitely they weren't able to find anything when everybody was losing jobs and not hiring. And so I saw all of that. And it broke my heart. And there was nothing to do at that time. And then, I was living in San Diego, so I was looking for a job here. And I'm so happy how it ended up that the executive director, Sofia Salgado, moved on to another job. And so I applied and got this. And you are right. It's all about like picking up the pieces. And I'm a very positive person. The glass is halfway full for me. And I do think that as a leader, you have to show hope and share hope.
Hispanic Lifestyle is pleased to have the support of Wells Fargo Bank. More information is on their website, wellsfargo.com. Additional underwriting support is provided by Inland Empire Health Plan, Small Business Development Corporation of Orange County, and Bank of America. Thank you for joining us for this edition of Hispanic Lifestyle. Just a reminder, you can find website links, additional resource information, and expanded versions of the interviews on our website, HispanicLifestyle.com. Until next time, please stay safe and healthy. Goodbye for now.